Is it July already? I mean, that's why I'm going to tell you about Captain America. Because it's his birthday.
You have come to see the results of our work. Let me show you.
Probably too late to go to the bathroom, right?
So we meet this guy, Steve Rogers, and he's a little small.
Somebody get that kid a sandwich.
How small is he?
The army won't take him to fight in a war. They're drafting any man they can get their hands on small.
I am not interested.
But that's not stopping him from joining the army. He's even started lying to recruiters about who he is and where he's from.
Oh, you're from Paramus now.
Which apparently, if you're from New York, that's a really big no-no.
And seriously, Jersey?
I guess he's hoping to find a doctor that'll overlook the fact that he has all the illnesses.
When you brought a 90-pound asthmatic onto my army base, I let it slide. I thought, what the hell, maybe it'd be useful to you, like a gerbil.
And it makes him want to join even more when he finds out that everyone else gets to help.
Even little Timmy is doing his part.
He thinks he has a responsibility to do what's right, even if he'll get hurt. Like when he's at the movie theater and some guy's disrespecting the troops and their families. Without hesitation, Steve does his American duty to tell that guy to shut up. Because there's a special place in hell for people who talk during movies. But this guy doesn't take the hint and wants to fight Steve outside. Which we should have expected from somebody with this kind of intelligence.
Hey, just start the cartoon!
Hey, you want to shut up?
Steve's getting beat up, but he's holding his ground.
Just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
But luckily a guy shows up and puts an end to the fight.
Steve's really lucky that guy came by.
It wasn't really luck. It was Steve's best friend, Bucky, and he was supposed to meet him at the theater. I guess he looked for him in the alley first, because he's kind of used to saving him from fights.
I got beat up in that alley. In that parking lot, and behind that diner.
Sometimes I think you like getting punched.
If he's that small, why would he fight?
I don't like bullies.
But Bucky won't be there to save him anymore because he got his orders and ships out tomorrow. And to celebrate, they go to the fair.
Wait, he's leaving for war and instead of spending time with his family, he goes to a fair?
That's right, and he even lined up a double date. But now that I think about it, a girlfriend would want a private goodbye. I think this girl just wanted to go to the fair and get some fried ding-dongs from the fair. So they see this presentation by a guy named Howard Stark, and he thinks that he can get cars to fly.
Stark is the best civilian pilot I've ever seen.
Well, Steve isn't impressed by this at all, and Steve's date isn't impressed by, well, Steve.
Women aren't exactly lining up to dance with the guy they might step on.
So he bails. Bucky finds him at the recruitment building and tells him to give up. He tells Bucky that he's not going to give up, and he's going to find a way to get in.
It's not like we can just knock on the front door.
So he ditches his best friend on what could possibly be the last night he ever sees him, to probably get rejected again.
Look at that. He's making me cry.
Why would he do that?
Well, they were going dancing, and Steve doesn't know how to dance.
You know, I still don't know how to dance.
I'll show you how. Put your right foot forward.
Well, it kind of works out because a scientist overheard his little speech, and he's running a top-secret project, and he kind of wants him to be a part of this trial.
Son of a bitch did it.
In basic training, he's clearly not as strong or as fast as everybody else. But he's smarter and braver, and that's what the scientist wants in his trial.
I am looking for qualities beyond the physical. Take off your shirt, your tie, and your hat.
A good man.
He and this agent Peggy Carter want him to be the guinea pig.
And these are your only two options. A lab rat or a dancing monkey.
And they pick him even though the colonel running the program disagrees.
What are they testing?
It's this formula that amplifies your personality.
Good becomes great. Bad becomes worse.
You don't win wars with niceness, Doctor.
But we know Steve's a good dude, so it turns him into a beefcake. As everyone's celebrating Steve's new look,
How do you feel?
Taller.
You look taller.
Thought you were smaller.
I thought he'd be taller.
He's still skinny.
some German dude steals the last vial and shoots the scientists so they can't make any more. So this guy's getting away, and no one can stop him, because all the military people forgot how to shoot or something. And so he gets into a car and drives off. And that's when Agent Carter gets out on the street and shoots the driver from like really, really far away. The assassin then gets into a cab and stupidly drives back towards the woman who just made an impossible shot.
I can do more than that.
But she's the type of person that can do impossible things, like turning Peggy into a shortened version of the name Margaret.
I can spell.
I can't think of any other reason than Steve needs to save her from being run over, but she forgets how to shoot too.
I don't think anything, Captain. Not one thing.
Why can't she shoot him?
Because Steve needs to show off his new powers. So he chases this car down on foot. And by on foot, I mean barefoot. He runs through broken glass and finally catches up with this car, and he crashes it.
Not exactly a Buick.
The assassin guy runs and climbs into a submarine and takes off. But Steve dives in the water and punches a hole through the windshield and pulls the guy out.
You are failing!
But unfortunately, the vial breaks, and nobody knows how to make the formula. The assassin also takes a cyanide pill and dies before they can get any information out of him.
How about cyanide? Does that give you the rumbly tummy too?
So what do they decide to do with a guy who can do all this stuff that we just talked about? They turn him into an actor.
What?
You do realize that's nuts, don't you?
Yep, they put him in tights and put him in theater under the name Captain America to sell war bonds.
But he's like a superhero. Why wouldn't they use him?
Because they need money to pay the soldiers to keep fighting the war instead of sending in the genetically engineered super soldier to take care of all that work for them.
But I don't expect you to understand that because you're a chorus girl.
After months of touring, they send him overseas to Italy to dance for the troops. And they're a little less than receptive.
Nice boots, Tinkerbell!
And I'm wearing tights.
While he's there, he finds out that Bucky's unit was taken hostage by this guy Schmidt. And this guy is super evil, and he found this thing called the Tesseract, and he's using it to make these super-powered weapons. And even though he's actually a German, he's still going to arm his group called Hydra and try to take over the world.
Hail Hydra.
Hey, Hydra!
So Agent Carter tells him where Schmidt is, and Howard Stark flies him over the base so he can rescue Bucky. Well, he gets super lucky, and nobody finds the people he knocked out all over the base. So he finds out where the prisoners are being held, but Bucky's not with them. So he lets all these guys go, and they go attack the Hydra soldiers. He sees some weird sciencey guy running out of a room, and that's where he finds Bucky strapped to a table.
Comfortable?
They apparently were torturing or doing experiments on Bucky.
Steve, come on. I'm invisible.
So he's a little weak.
I'm turning into you. This is like a horrible dream.
Schmidt realizes that the base is compromised, so he blows it up.
He just blows it up?
Well, he gives himself 7 minutes so he can get to his rocket plane, and the little sciencey guy can get to this car that is clearly compensating for something.
I embrace it proudly.
Nobody's perfect.
You don't have one of those, do you?
He thought it could be one of the side effects.
Really not that surprising.
I fear it may not work at all.
It's permanent. So far. Really, it's not a big deal.
Tell that to their wives.
But in those 7 minutes, he fights Captain America and lets him know that he was actually the first person that they used that formula on. And then he rips his face off.
Ew.
Yeah, he was wearing a rubber mask because I guess he didn't want his personal army to see that the formula gave him like this Red Skull face. But he's totally cool with some random guy saying it. So back at the base, Captain America brings all the soldiers back, and the colonel's like, maybe you don't suck after all.
Bing, bang, boom. You're an American hero.
While he was there, he saw that there are 6 more Hydra bases. So they asked him to lead a team to go blow those up too.
You know, we don't have the equipment for a job like this.
Why don't they just tell him they're going to his bases and then he'll blow them up himself?
I guess that could have worked too. But then he wouldn't be able to put his team together of distinct hat-wearing Howling Commandos. And these guys are a special bunch.
One of these days, I'm gonna have a stick of my own.
I'm from Fresno, Ace.
See? Told you. They were all idiots.
They also let him keep the made-up rank of captain.
You just got promoted.
Because that's how the army works.
You can't give me orders!
The hell I can't! I'm a captain!
Before they go on their mission, they have to meet up with Howard Stark, because he's been reverse engineering some of the Hydra weapons.
Write that down.
Stark also wants to give Captain a shield, because shields were historically known for being the weapon of choice in the 40s. He asks Peggy if she likes it, and she shoots at him.
What if the shield didn't work? Aren't there other people around?
Well, she's mad because a girl kissed him.
I'm not kissing you.
Are they dating?
They like each other, but never did anything about it.
So are you two? Do you... fondue?
Well, what about you and Stark? How do I know you two haven't been fondueing?
Fondue's just cheese and bread, my friend.
But while they're on one of their secret missions, this guy is filming them for the news, and we see that Cap has a picture of her in his compass.
Oh, she gave him a picture of her.
Nope, he got it from the newspaper, because all secret agents have articles written about them.
That's creepy.
Yeah, but remember, in love stories, light stalking is considered cute, and we ignore it because they're both embarrassed by it.
Because you had a crush.
So all their missions are going as planned, until they have to kidnap the sciencey guy off a train. 3 of them zipline onto this train, but it's actually a trap. They fight off the bad guys, but one of them blows a hole in the side of the train and Bucky flies out. Steve tries to save him, but he can't get there in time and Bucky falls off the mountain.
Don't do anything stupid until I get back.
How can I? I'm taking all the stupid with you.
But they do get the sciencey guy and figure out Schmidt's plan.
And I suppose you still aim to win this war through magic.
He can do it.
Agent Carter is wondering if Steve's okay because he's trying to get drunk.
Can I ask you a question? You save me any of that schnapps?
I suppose that is the only question that matters.
I can't get drunk.
He can't stop thinking about all the times that Bucky saved him, and he wasn't able to save Bucky. But he doesn't have time to be sad because Schmidt is planning on bombing America tomorrow. Cap enters the final base alone, and the Hydra agents have every opportunity to kill him, but they don't. But Schmidt wants him alive.
Captain America! How exciting! I am a great fan of your films.
So after he's done monologuing, he puts a gun to Captain America's head. But all of a sudden, the unique hat crew bursts through the window.
Sounds rather fun, actually.
But Schmidt runs to his plane, so Cap has to chase him down. So he's chasing after the plane, but he can't catch up to it.
Faster, ladies, come on. My grandmother has more life in her, God rest her soul.
But the Colonel and Peggy roll up in the tiny penis car, and he jumps in.
To the little guys.
They're racing down the runway after this plane, catching up to it. And right before he jumps on the plane, he says goodbye to her, and she finally gives him a kiss.
This sounds familiar.
He fights off the Hydra soldiers before they can get into their bomb planes.
Hydra's not going to attack you with a pocket knife.
And lucky for him, they only have enough soldiers to fly that exact number of planes, and no more just in case anything went wrong. So Schmidt starts shooting at Cap, even though if he misses, he's going to hit either the control panel or the windshield. And he actually ends up hitting the box that's holding the Tesseract, and he picks it up. Well, all of a sudden, this hole opens in the sky, and he gets sucked into space.
Where did he go?
Just space. That's all we get to find out. It just kind of disappears.
Okay.
But the Tesseract stays behind and falls into the ocean. Now Steve has to fly the plane, but he bumped his butt into the control panel, so now those don't work. And now he has to crash the plane to save New York. Knowing that he probably won't survive, he radios Peggy to tell her goodbye for real this time. Well, she doesn't exactly accept this.
You're gonna need a rain check on that dance.
A week next Saturday at the Stork Club. 8 o'clock on the dot. Don't you dare be late.
But he doesn't know how to dance. And he's about to die.
Well, some girls get complicated after you kiss them.
If you have something to say, right now is the perfect time to keep it to yourself.
And she thinks that since they kissed, that he'll find a way to not die so she can teach him how to dance.
Why is dancing such a big deal?
You must have danced.
Well, asking a woman to dance always seems so terrifying.
We're taking the girls dancing.
We going dancing?
Yes, we are.
Figured I'd wait.
For what?
Right partner.
I might, even when this is all over, go dancing.
Then what are we waiting for?
The right partner.
Because I got a few moves I know you'll like.
And now that I think about it, I think dancing may be more of a euphemism than actual dancing.
Looks like finding a partner wasn't that hard after all.
Anyway, he takes off the autopilot and steers it into the frozen ocean.
I thought the controls didn't work.
I guess they work for crashing and not landing? And that's what he does. He saves New York from being bombed by destroying the plane.
Wait, you already told me this story.
No, I haven't.
They were both raised on an island, not used to the opposite sex. They can't dance, and told they couldn't join the military. Find new superpowers, fight with the shield.
Oh, yeah.
They're both attacked on the street by German spies who kill themselves with cyanide capsules before they can get any information about their army's plan.
Are you insane?
Wear a costume to fight German soldiers in a war led by an equally powered bad guy that wants to take over the world by disguising himself as a normal person.
Please, don't do this.
The German commander has a plan that goes against the wishes of the whole rest of the army and kills the group that delivers the orders that go against his plan using a weapon that was designed by his scientist sidekick.
Think you got enough?
Innocent villages are massacred to show the power of the evil villain, and historic churches are destroyed.
Is there anything else you want to show me?
Both heroes inspire an army by doing the right thing and fighting alone, even when they're told it's impossible.
You don't give up, do you?
And they both lose the person that believed in them the most and their sidekick.
Don't take it so hard. Maybe she's got a friend.
A guy named Steve goes into a bar to recruit a band of misfits to help him take over enemy bases while they plan their missions with a compass.
Why are they doing this?
I don't know.
He ends up running after a plane but doesn't get on until he said goodbye to the woman he loves, only to sacrifice himself to save a major city from having bombs dropped on it by destroying the plane where it can't hurt anybody.
Enough!
They also celebrate in London and remember Steve through a photo. Yeah, but in this story, unlike the other one, this Steve survives and wakes up in the future so he can go on other adventures.
Peggy knew he would live and you called her crazy.
The other one is super duper 100% dead.
Stephen, son, you don't really believe this rubbish, do you?
And there is no possible way for him to come back.
How did he live?
Science, but I understand your confusion. Great power has always baffled primitive men.
Howard Stark put a team together to find him and the Tesseract. Well, they find the Tesseract in the ocean using that German sub that the assassin was using.
Hail Hydra!
And they find the plane wreckage where Steve was frozen, and they thaw him in 2012. When he wakes up,
Good morning.
they try to trick him into thinking he's still in the 40s, but they have this baseball game playing on the radio that Steve actually went to. And also the nurse isn't wearing one of those weird cone-shaped boob bras that they had in the 40s. So between those two, he figures it out.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
So this kind of upsets him, so he bursts out only to find that he is super late for his date with Peggy. So that was Captain America. What did you think?
I still think it's the same story as Wonder Woman.
You should be ashamed.
My apologies.
You should be ashamed.
Diana?
I'd like to surrender myself for disciplinary action.
That won't be necessary.
Shut up! This one came first.
I'm sorry.
Come on, guys. We're all on the same team here. How about you? You ready to
Subscribe to our channel.
enter the jaws of death?
It's not for the eyes of ordinary men.